I'd like to take a moment now to go over medical related items that were used by the United States Army during World War II. What you have here in front of you is an assortment of bandages that generally would have probably been carried by someone who was a medic, but every American soldier actually carried a bandage with him. On your cartridge belt was a pouch right here, and contained within this pouch, little snap right there, would have been one of these 4 different types of bandages. Each of these were probably about, probably like 6 inches by 6 inches, had a piece of cloth to it so that you could tie it around your wound, and it was intended to, whatever happened to you, most probably bleeding, to stabilize the wound until the medic could come with other appropriate bandages and items to then get you ready to go what they called an aid station back then. So that would be the first place someone would look at you and then, treat you. Now the pouch, the bandages were intended obviously to be clean and sterile. The first ones were put in a metal tin, had a tab right here that you would lift, pull it off, remove your bandage. It inserted into the pouch like that, and then you snapped it down. As the war progressed, there are different variations of this. This one was copper. Later, to save materials, they went to a steel case, but the tab was still copper to pull it off. Also, it's a flat colored paint. Later, they went to a box that's waxed cardboard. And it had your field dressing in it. Still had the same contents as these 2 items, but once again, to save resources, it was all waxed. This is another variant of that bandage. However, this would have been in a bag that the medic would have carried. The next thing we have is obviously the type of bandages that the medic would have had. Obviously, there's different sizes. It all depends on the nature of the wound. For example, this is gauze. You're probably familiar with gauze. It's just cloth that you could wrap around your wound. Here's another one with gauze. That's gauze. That's gauze. This one is a sling. So if you hurt your arm and you couldn't lift it, obviously, it's like a triangular piece of fabric, tie a knot over your shoulder, put your arm in it, and it would hang like that. To give you an idea of what many of these items look like, I actually opened one up. In this particular case, it's the large first aid dressing. So if you opened it up, and it's the same principle for the ones down here. That's called a Carlisle bandage. So if you open it up, obviously it's all cotton. Now this one's 80 years old, so obviously it's not sterile anymore, so I wouldn't really actually use this. One side of it, it's the same for all of these, had a smooth cotton on it. The other side had gauze that was packed with cotton. And as you can see here, there was a series of straps, 4 of them, which you then put around the wound and then tie it. Nothing personal. Whoever got hit and had to use one of these, that's really, really nasty. So like, for example, if it was on your leg, you put it there, pull it around, and tie it. So, the other item I do not have that was also issued was morphine. Obviously, that's a narcotic. That also would have been with the medic. It was called the Surette. It was intended to be used one time. It was glass with a needle on it. So the whole idea is if the person obviously was in a lot of pain, you took it, you hit it, they got their morphine, made them feel a little bit better until you can get them back to an aid station. So that's a very quick overview of the types of bandages that were used by the U.S. Army, by the infantrymen, as well as by medics during World War II.